The first weekend of the 2024 Six Nations was filled with tries, highlight plays, and plenty of controversy. Let's take a look at the brilliant weekend of rugby we have just seen. Ireland set the bar very high. This year's competition began with the game that many feel is going to determine the winner of the tournament. France and Ireland have been the two best teams in the competition over the last few years, but they are both coming off disappointing Rugby World Cup campaigns. France were hoping to help their fans forget the loss to South Africa last year, but it was Ireland who were the team that started off much hotter. Andy Farrell's team were camped in the French half and finally got the breakthrough thanks to Bundy Aki's line break in the 16th minute. Jamison Gibson-Park scored Ireland's first try, with Tadgbirn adding the second after a brilliant assist from new fly-half Jack Crowley. France were already losing, and they then had to deal with playing with 14 men for the rest of the game when Paul Willems picked up his second yellow card for another headshot. France were able to launch a bit of a comeback, despite being a man down, going into the half just 7 points down, thanks to a Damien Penaud try. The two teams traded tries to start the second half, but the dominance that Ireland had at the set piece ended up being the difference maker. Dan Sheehan and Ronan Kelleher added tries in the final 20 minutes to give Ireland their first win in France since 2018. It was an emphatic result for an Irish team who will want to put their World Cup disappointment behind them. The team will be particularly pleased with the stellar performance of Jack Crowley. Crowley has the massive task of replacing Johnny Sexton and did well in a hostile environment against one of the best teams in the world. France clearly missed their leader, Antoine Dupont, with the French defence struggling massively. France will want to bounce back next week as they travel to Scotland. England escape with the points. World Cup semi-finalists England began their Six Nations campaign with a trip to Rome to face Italy, who disappointed with their performances in France last year. England have never lost to Italy, and Steve Borthwick's teams were looking to extend that record against a young, hungry Italian team. An upset looked on the cards early on as Italy held possession for most of the first 20 minutes. Italy took advantage of England's quick defensive line to produce an impressive line break that ended in Alessandro Garbisi, giving his country a 10-0 lead against England in the first 12 minutes. New Italian head coach Gonzalo Quesada could not have asked for a better start to his reign, but England replied. A George Ford penalty was followed by a well-worked try, finished off by Elliot Daly in the corner. But once again, England's defence was brought into question as Italy exposed the flanks. Their free-flowing attack led to fullback Tommaso Allan crossing over to extend Italy's lead. A couple of penalties was not enough for England to take the lead, and they headed into half-time trailing. Facing one of the biggest upsets in the team's history, England responded well in the second half. Alex Mitchell gave England the lad, and their defence became a lot stronger. Italy failed to register a single point in the second half until the 84th minute, when Monty Ioane scored a consolation try to at least give Italy a bonus point. England managed to escape with a 3-point win, and Steve Borthwick will be pleased that his guys got it done in the second half. He will also be pleased with the group of players who made their debut in this game. Man of the match Ethan Roots was brilliant in his first game. Italy will be thrilled that they were more than competitive in this game. This is a very young Italy side who are still building. To have been just 3 points off England for large parts of the game will be a great sign for what Italy are building. Scotland survive a spectacular comeback. The first weekend of this year's Six Nations finished off with the game of the weekend between Scotland and Wales. For a long time, this game looked like it was going to be pretty boring. Scotland started off by far the better team out of the two, with Finn Russell kicking his team into the lead just 6 minutes in. From then on, Scotland found it very simple to cut through the Welsh defence. Pierre Showman went over under the posts for the first try of the day before Russell added another penalty. Wales could then do nothing as Finn Russell produced 2 brilliant assists to Duhan van der Merwe. Just after half-time, Scotland had a 27-point lead, and the game looked like it could get even more ugly very quickly. But Wales went back to the set piece, and it paid off. A James Botham try led to a yellow card for George Turner, helped the Welsh come back massively. Rio Dyer scored in the corner before Sione Tuipulotu was set to the sin bin. Wales once again capitalised on the man advantage. The Welsh comeback seemed inevitable when Alex Mann's try made it just a 1-point game. But Scotland were able to hold out for 12 minutes for an amazing 1-point victory. Wales had chances in the final 10 minutes, but Scotland were the team who came closest to scoring in the final minutes. Both teams will be pleased with their performances. Wales looked good in the second half as they tried to bring through a new, younger group of players. For Scotland, they will know that to improve on their impressive third-place finish from last year, they need to keep the concentration throughout the game.